Under the same roof, we share the love. Embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. And how do we stand in love's pure might? Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Watching the World News at Noon. We have so much to cover in regards to the President of the United States, the deal with Iran. We're going to have a little breakdown so you can understand the general structure of it all. Today, we're going to start off with a troubling story about an individual that was attacked in regards to the Karmelo Anthony case. I'm pretty sure many will be interested in that. That's how we're going to start off. Today, I'm going to be calling out Mama Flips. If you can find Mama Flips, tell her I'm actually looking for her because we have an update in the Luigi Mangione case. Is something that I had told would happen, and she denied it, so I can't wait to call her out. But at any rate, you guys will probably remember that. So much more today. Pete Hegseth is taking on heat from individuals of color, saying that they're complaining about the way he leads. We're going to see what all of this is about. But first, let's get started. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to get started with this story in regards to Karmelo Anthony case. A man is attacked. Let's see what it's about.
On jury selection?
No, he wasn't. Man. No, he wasn't. Seriously.
Okay, so this guy walked up to him and said, "Were you a part of Karmelo Anthony's jury selection?" And he punched the guy in the head. Did you see that? Let's go back. Now that you have the context, this happened recently. I was traveling at the time. I really couldn't cover it, but it was something that I would have typically have covered. So let's check it out again. Guys, this is really sad.
Hey, weren't you on jury selection?
No, he wasn't. Man. No, he wasn't. Seriously. He wasn't.
He was on jury selection.
No, he's a vet, dude. He's a vet. He's a vet. He ain't been on jury selection.
I ain't worried about that. You gonna die.
If you're a criminal.
Okay, so whoever his channel is, thank you for sharing this information. So that's quite sad to see what happened. This guy gets hit in the head because someone thought he was on the jury for Karmelo Anthony. That's not the only case that I've heard about in regards to this monumental trial where people are really pushing back because they're not happy with the results and they feel that Karmelo Anthony did not receive a fair trial. What do you guys think about it? Put your answer in the chat. Now I see that I have Deborah here. I have Stella, some long-term watchers here. Did you guys remember when I said that when I was covering Luigi Mangione, that I felt that he was having some outbursts in court? And I felt that his attorneys would go with the mental plea, psychiatric issues. Do you guys remember that? Let's see. Stella and Deborah, I know you guys must remember. You catch pretty much everything that I say. So I want to show you what's happening. We have information, breaking news in regards to Luigi Mangione. Now, Mama Flips, she pushed back on me. She said, "Oh, no. In court, he looked like an amazing guy. He seemed like he was okay." All right. But ultimately, they're going to make this argument. In fact, remember the last day of court for Luigi Mangione? I told you he had this big outburst as he was walking out of his hearing because the judge had ruled that basically he was going to have these two different cases. He's going to have the state case. He also will have the federal case. They already took the death penalty off the table, but I told all the watchers, so I get a little moment. Usually, I don't brag a lot, but I told you guys Luigi Mangione's attorneys would go with he's having some psychiatric problems. Let's get to it. Thank you.
Luigi Mangione appearing in court today in New York as well. He was supposed to appear Tuesday, but there was a clerical error that forced that hearing to be delayed. This is the first hearing in the state's murder case. There's a federal case as well, since the judge held a secret hearing in his chambers. Mangione is accused of stalking and killing United Health Insurance executive Brian Thompson.
Oh, Pretty Tings is here. I know you remember what I said in regards to Luigi Mangione. One of you guys have to know. Okay, Stella and Deborah, remember. But I want Mama Flips. I called her and I told her, come to this show right now because you have to listen to this. I hope she's around.
2024, shooting him on a New York City sidewalk. News Nation's Alicia Nieves is outside the court. We got some major developments in this short hearing today about the defense's strategy.
Yeah, only a 20-minute hearing, Marnie, but major developments coming out of it. First and foremost, Luigi Mangione appeared in person after yesterday's hiccup where the prosecution didn't deliver the proper paperwork to the jail, and so Luigi didn't show up yesterday, but instead Mangione showed up today. Now, after that, the judge finally revealed what happened in that secret meeting that happened 2 weeks ago, that closed-door, sealed meeting. He says the most notable thing that happened was defense finally revealed to him that they plan to use a psychiatric defense in Luigi Mangione's.
Okay, guys, you hear that? Stella, Deborah, Pretty Things. You should tell Mama Flip she should be ashamed because she was arguing with me about this whole topic. I know she's going to come for me. But anyway, check it out. He's arguing the psychiatric issue. And I predicted it because I was sitting in court just like I did for Karmelo Anthony's case, right?
State trial that likely is going to happen in about 3 months from now. They're going to try to argue that he was under extreme emotional distress at the time of the killing of that United Healthcare CEO. The judge also saying that he is going to unseal the full minutes of that hearing. That'll come at some point, potentially today, at the latest tomorrow. They also talked a lot of...
Mama Flips, where are you? You argued me down. Oh, he looked so handsome. He looked like he was composed. What did you tell me that day, Mama Flips? And I told you, this guy in court, he looks like he's giving these faces like he's having some mental issues, right? Now, I'm friendly with his attorney's side, so I don't think they would come after me. I'm giving my perspective. But I saw this coming and I told you, this is why I go to court. I predicted it, that they were going to say he has some psychiatric problems. And I want Mama Flips in here right now. Where is she at?
About the actual trial date. The government trying to solidify that date as it stands right now. It's September 8th. The government arguing that the defense has dragged this along for the last 18 months. And that CEO from United Healthcare was killed. His family deserves to know when they get justice. In fact, the prosecution is saying that his 78...
I just want to tell you, this week in court, they had the actual recording. Typically, that must be a new approval from the judge because typically there was only cameras, obviously by the professional photographers. But this is a new development now where they're actually using cameras to record videoing Luigi Mangione. We're gearing up for trial. We're going to have the state trial starting in September, and then the federal trial will start around January or so. And then also we're going to start Jay-Z's trial. So Jay-Z is going to have to pull up to the same courthouse as Sean Diddy Combs. It's a civil lawsuit. I don't think they're going to settle. So we'll get a chance to hopefully see Jay-Z and company. They're actually suing Busby. Remember the whole allegations came out about this young girl that said she was abused by Jay-Z. All of that turned out to be not true. Well, now he's suing the attorneys for various reasons. We're going to start covering that case, but that case is going to play out in the Southern District of New York, so I can't wait to really cover it. I imagine all of the people that like to cover Diddy's trial are probably going to come back to cover Jay-Z's trial. I don't see it actually being settled, so I'm looking forward to that. But at any rate, let's keep moving in regards to Luigi Mangione. I was covering this case from the very beginning. Let's get back to it here. Let me add it back. Thank you.
killing of that United Healthcare CEO. The judge also saying that he is going to unseal the full minutes of that hearing. That'll come at some point, potentially today, at the latest tomorrow. They also talked a lot about the actual trial date. The government trying to solidify that date. As it stands right now, it's September 8th. The government arguing that the defense has dragged this along for the last 18 months, and that CEO from United Healthcare was killed. His family deserves to know when they get justice. In fact, the prosecution saying that his 78-year-old mother deserves to know why her son was buried. At the end of the hearing, they didn't.
So far in court, I have not seen his mother appear. So we'll have to see how this plays out toward the end of these two trials if she shows up at either one of them.
Finalize the date of the trial. The judge just saying that moving forward, there's probably going to be a virtual hearing. Will solidify.
So here we go. You get a chance to see him, right? Check him out right here. This is what I see in court, and this is why I say he's gonna go with the psychiatric play. Watch.
That moving forward, there's probably going to be a virtual hearing.
Will
solidify the date kind of then. We did not hear anything about the potential jury selection. That was something that a lot of people were hoping we would get out of this hearing. But most notably, we did get an understanding of what Luigi Mangione's defense is going to be for this state trial. And it looks like, according to the judge and his defense, it's going to be a psychiatric defense, Marnie.
All right, so it's going to be a psychiatric defense. Let me explain to you a little bit about this case. We had the state level hearing first, and for that hearing, they were trying to see what items they could suppress because he was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He had a weapon in his backpack. He also had a red journal, which the prosecution was trying to frame it as a manifesto. Okay, and so the defense would often say, hey, listen, he can't say that. Objection. He can't call it a manifesto. The judge is like, well, he can call it a manifesto. We don't have a jury here. During the trial, we won't allow him to call it a manifesto, okay? They brought in about 13 police officers back to back, and each of these officers gave their own distinct testimony, and they were cross-examined, and guess what? Their stories were falling apart, very similar to Karmelo Anthony's case. But I've never seen police officers that their stories start to fall apart, right? So I imagine for the trial, because his main attorney in this case is Karen Agnifilo. She's the wife of Mark Agnifilo, who represented Sean Diddy Combs. He was the main attorney. But what's so interesting about this particular case, Luigi Mangione mentioned that basically, I guess his argument is that so many people die every day from cancer, diabetes, all these different illnesses because the health insurance system has failed people and they refuse to pay for severe health care. Okay, so this is the argument that many have talked about thus far. But now we see that the dominant argument is that he's had some psychiatric problems. So I will be covering the state and the federal trial. A lot of people are definitely going to be covering this case, the actual trial. I'm also covering Nicolas Maduro and so many other trials too that are coming up. We have a big rapper, Yellow Beezy. I'll be attending his trial, covering it. And also Little Durk is a big time rapper. I'll be covering his case as well. So I actually know his attorney quite well. So that's going to be great for the logistics of understanding the trial and so forth. Now we're going to move on, and I want to show you guys what CNN has to say in regards to this matter, especially when it comes to the president of the United States. Let's see what's happening in regards to breaking down the Iran deal. I can't wait to hear how this works and how this plays out. Let's get to it. Thank you.
And has obtained the text of a 14-point memorandum of understanding between the U.S. and Iran. CNN's Kevin Liptak is in Geneva, Switzerland. Kevin, can you tell us about what you've learned so far?
Right, and this text, Audie, has not been officially released by either side of this. We've heard from American officials over the last couple of days that they were planning to release this officially after it is formally signed here in Switzerland on Friday. But now CNN has obtained a copy of it. We've gotten a copy from a U.S. official. We've gotten a version of it from a diplomat who has seen copies of it circulating here at the G7 summit, and 2 additional sources. So we have 4 sources from which we have obtained the text of this document.
Now, do we have any people in the audience that are happy about the Iran deal? Put a 1 in the chat if you're happy about this new development, that a deal is on the table. It seems that oil prices are dropping. Stock market is back moving in the right direction. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with this deal. Put a 2 if you don't. Let's see what everybody has to say in regards to this.
In some ways, it does reflect how American officials have been characterizing it over the last several days. It is vague in a lot of its terms, particularly when it comes to Iran's nuclear program. It lays out in broad terms how the Strait of Hormuz will be reopened, how the U.S. will lift its blockade on Iranian ports, and it does spell out what the financial relief that Iran can expect as part of this deal if it meets its commitments. And so it does specify, for example, that Iran will be
Guys, we have quite a few people here just on YouTube alone. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you to all the people that are watching on X too. Thanks.
able to gain access to a $300 billion development fund. American officials have been
Shout out to Brian, Round and Sky. Thank you guys. David Murphy, thanks.
explicit that the U.S. will not provide the funding for that, but that $300 billion figure is included in this document. It also specifies that Iran will be able to start exporting oil, and that the U.S. Will lift some of the, or it will issue waivers for some of the sanctions immediately upon the signing of this memorandum of understanding. And so those are some of what is included in the document. It's 14 points long, and I do want to pull out one of those 14 points specifically as it relates to Iran's nuclear program, because I think this is important, and this, at the end of the day, is one of the reasons that the president has said that he started the war in the first place, is to eliminate Iran's ability to obtain a nuclear weapon. And this is what the Memorandum of Understanding says on the
Guys, please participate in the poll too. And let us know if you think President Trump is the best leader of all time. Let's see what you have to say in regards to that. I can't wait to see the results.
this point. It's point number 8. It says the Islamic Republic of Iran reiterates that it will never produce nuclear weapons. The Islamic Republic
All right, that girl Henny, go follow her channel. She is so amazing. She's always there to really cover these cases along with me, and I find it so amazing. Thank you so much for all you do.
of Iran and the United States have agreed that the fate of enriched material and the fate of all other mutually agreed nuclear-related issues, including Iran's nuclear needs, will be adequately addressed in a final agreement. The final agreement will confirm the provisions of this article. And so it is what we expected. It's punting the really
Somebody in the audience, tell us, how much money are we giving Iran this time around? We gave them a lot of money last time. Some say, oh, we just gave them their money back. But this time around, how much money are we giving them, and how will that be explained to the American people? Let's see.
thorny issues about enrichment, around the fate of Iran's nuclear stockpile, to these future technical negotiations. The memo specifies that those will last 60 days, but that they could also be extended. You know, we have been talking to American officials about the language in this document, and in a lot of ways they have been downplaying it. They have suggested that this is essentially a political document meant to.
Okay, Nick says 300 billion. My heavens. Okay. Sunset says, can someone tell me how we won? Can somebody answer Sunset? How have we won? Let's talk about it. Thank you.
Create the conditions to get Iran to the table for these much more technical negotiations going forward. But I still think
Okay, we have Katie. Katie says, someone needs to show MAGA how many pallets of cash you would need to cover 300 billion. Spare us the bullshit about Obama. This is 300 billion. What do you say about that? We're giving away all sorts of money. We also wanted to give reparations to the January 6th individuals. You hear about that? That was shut down temporarily, perhaps, or maybe for permanent. We'll see how that plays out.
Lack of specificity around the nuclear issues, I think, will be a surprise to some people who have been following all this. And in particular, the fact that it doesn't say anywhere in the document that the United States will be involved in the destruction of Iran's highly enriched uranium. You know, President Trump has been saying that for the last several days. What American officials have told us.
Okay, guys, Vicky says taxpayers are going to pay $300 billion to stop bullying us. Wow. Thank you.
Is that they have confidence that Iran has agreed to some of those provisions because of these back channel commitments that they've received as part of putting this memorandum of.
Thank you, Henny. I observed that tremendously. Bad Bunny says, so much money being wasted. Okay, a lot of people feel that way, but we have people with different ideas about the deal. That's why I always look forward to your comments and see what everybody has to say about it, the watchers.
Of understanding together. And what, you know, one official told us yesterday is that, quote, people shouldn't read too much into the language of the MOU, and that's what's more important than the actual document is the understandings that we have with each other. Of course, all of that is, I think, going to risk some backlash from Iran hawks, even from some of the president's own allies who will argue that the U.S. is putting too much faith.
Okay, I just saw a pretty interesting comment. I want to try to get as many as I can. Okay, we have, we'll call it Mojav Red says, how much money and equipment was left in Afghanistan and the Republicans lost their effing minds? Oh my. Okay, thank you for participating. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. We are about to hit 70,000. And we've done this in roughly 9 months. I think it's beautiful. Thank you guys for all the support.
In the Iranians' word in all of this, and not necessarily in what they're willing to put in writing in these documents, but certainly what you've heard from the president over the last days, including here at the.
Hey, Scooter, come tell us how it's not a deal, right? This is what the mainstream media says. They've reached an agreement, a deal. The president of the United States is known to have the art of the deal. So in my estimation, it should be a deal. It should be effective for the American people based on what we're hearing from this administration.
G7 is really.
Shout out to Country Carpenter. Thank you guys for hitting the like button, sharing, and subscribing.
Proclaiming this as a triumph, you know, talking about how he was able to secure some of these commitments from Iran and suggesting that the future negotiations will, in fact, be easier. But just reading the document and reading all of the issues that are left to those future negotiations, I think it's clear that there are still some very difficult talks to come.
Beth, to you, U.S. officials saying that the text itself is intentionally vague. But one of the things that appears to be the case is that Iran, upon signing this MOU, can start selling its oil. I mean, what do you make? What stands out to you about this 14-point memorandum?
I think the main point here is that we're paying Iran to open the strait. So we're literally.
Okay, so did you hear that? We're paying Iran to open the strait. Remember when this whole action started, whether you want to call it a war, a conflict, okay, we'll give it to you. I'm not going to be arguing with people about certain things online. You can have your position. But remember, the strait was open when we started the first bomb drop, right? It was open. And then they closed it. So we picked up an additional problem that did not exist when this started, right? So that's why she's making that statement, just giving you some context.
Giving them sanctions relief. So they have the ability to sell oil right away. 2 super tankers already cleared past the U.S. blockade yesterday, Iranian tankers. So this, I think, is already.
All right, ships are moving. That's some serious progress. It's been months on end since we've heard such news where the ship seems to be moving freely, right?
Done with maybe the signing, the docu-signing on Friday. Or on Sunday, but I think that the other parts of this in terms of complete sanctions relief, about release of the frozen assets, so that could be anywhere
Guys, I want to get Katie here. Let's pay attention to what she's saying. This is her position. Katie says Trump negotiated the pullout from Afghanistan and pulled out way too many service members to be able to leave safely. Trump sabotaged the whole thing right before he left. All right. So she's putting the blame in the president's lap, right? Not Joe Biden's, right?
From 24 billion to 70.
And Katie, I see your participation. It's amazing. You're back to back. That's good. Thank you.
4 billion if China releases all of the 20 to 50 that they have. And then the promise of a 300 million reconstruction fund and the parameters of that agreed within the next.
So let's take some predictions. How soon do you think it would be before we're back to where we started? Back to having Iran doing things and chanting death to America. And now Israel is back dropping bombs on Iran and vice versa. How long do you think it's going to be? Or do you think it will not happen again? Let's see what you guys think about this.
Next 60 days. So all of that relief happens within the 60-day ceasefire and opening the strait, whereas all the nuclear information and discussion is literally said will be done in the next phase.
Sunset says 10 and a half hours. That is funny. Thank you.
So I'll stop there because Peter, I'm
Vicky says never, never. It's a done deal. All right.
sure has a lot to add.
I do want to ask you, Peter, you know, as
M. Wallen, everybody, I want you to be very good to M. Wallen. All right. M. Wallen says next week. All right. Next week. Thank you very much. I'll be in Egypt next week. So hopefully it doesn't happen while I'm out there that close to what's happening. I just came back from that direction and I was a little nervous, I must say, but I came back intact.
you know this region so well. It doesn't take U.S. intelligence agencies to tell us that Iran now has demonstrated it can shut down the Strait of Hormuz kind of whenever it wants to. Did this war, just in the immediate term at least, give Iran a new power?
Henny says 60 days. Okay, thank you. Stella says like, share, and subscribe and turn on your notifications to be notified of upcoming shows. Thank you. Kimberly says creepy bastards elected to protect a fool, a child. We won't say that word, fool. Okay. Not too happy with the president of the United States. We understand. All right. Thank you guys so much. We have so many comments coming in, but please keep hitting the hearts and hit the like. It helps us to be pushed into the algorithm. Notice we don't pander for money over here, asking for super chats and whatever else. But we do ask that if you could just hit the like button. It makes all these trips that I'm taking around the country. And next week when I go international and I show you guys the pyramids, I'm going to be taking you guys on tour with me. I'm not asking for, hey, send me a super chat. No, I just want you guys to hit the like button, hit the hearts when I'm out there, subscribe to the channel. That's how you can show some support. All right. Thank you.
Well, short answer, yes. I mean, this was a spectacular own goal by the Trump administration. Not only can they close down the Strait of Hormuz, but they could theoretically also get their Houthi proxies to close down the Red Sea approaches to the Suez Canal if they really wanted to up the ante. And I agree.
All right, so we get the idea, we get the ticket. Now we're going to see what Iran says they're going to do if America wants to find out, okay? We won't say those first two words, but let's see. They're very serious about this matter.
News conference out of France from the president. It will happen this morning. He'll take questions at the G7, could give us our best look yet at what is inside the Iran peace deal. So whether it's France or whether it's the Snake River in Idaho, everything's looking pretty good this time of year. Because it's almost
okay,
summer,
guys.
officially.
Daryl says anyone who can't see what Trump has done, just have blinders on, stop hating. He's saying basically the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is a big winner and a strong leader. Okay. And if you don't see it, you're just walking around with blindfolds on, folks.
I'm Bill Hemmer. Welcome to our broadcast in New York. And Dana,
Good morning. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's Newsroom. So we got news, and the news conference is going to come on the heels of a whirlwind G7. The U.S.-Iran breakthrough has dominated the summit, though we are still waiting to see the terms of that particular agreement.
So the deal is scheduled to be signed in Switzerland on Friday. The president saying that it will stop Iran from getting a nuke and restore the flow of global shipping. And he said this about the deal just a short time ago.
It's a very strong deal. Nobody knows what it is, but it's very strong.
Is the text of the agreement now final, or are you still...
Okay, guys, you hear that? Nobody knows what it is, but it's very strong. All right. What does that mean? Tell us what that means in the audience.
No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. And if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
Trey Yingst is in Tel Aviv, but first, let's go to Aisha Hasni. She's been at the G7.
Okay, you're getting some pushback. All right. Red says, tell us what makes him amazing. Okay, so people want to know for you to actually to define what makes the president so amazing. I can't wait to see the answers for this one.
G7 as that gets going and gets wrapped up. Hi, Aisha.
Hey there, good morning to you, Bill and Dana. The president says he is going to take a ton of questions about Iran in this upcoming news conference, and that is going to be very important because...
Okay, David, they're calling you out, David. They want you to come up. If you two guys, any two, if I can get a pro-Trump and against Trump in peace that wants to come up and have a debate right now, let's go. I'm going to drop the link, but I need two individuals, okay? You guys... I get so many people in the chat talking. I like to have people come up. So that's how we can solve this issue with people pushing back and whatever. I just dropped the link. If you want to go at it in peace, no cursing, and have an intellectual debate. It looks like we have a David and there was somebody else pushing back on David. You guys have the link. Pull on up. Come on up and let's talk about the Iran deal, or let's talk about oil prices. Can you guys debate that? You can debate whatever you want to, but I just gave you the link. We have to have these debates, okay? So who wants to come on up? I need two people. I need a Trump supporter and I need a Trump denier to come up right now. Let's go. You guys are having an argument in the chat. Let's bring it on the big stage. All right, let's go. Okay.
Morning, I'm Dana.
Details of the program are set to be discussed, but in the past, the Iranians have been unwilling to make serious concessions. President Trump said Tuesday the U.S. will go into Iran, get their highly enriched uranium, and destroy it. It's not clear if the Iranians have agreed to this point. At the G7 earlier, the president...
Okay, Travis, you're both. If you come up, then you can argue any direction. So let's go. Let's go. Come on up, folks. I'm giving you the floor. I'll step aside. Let's go.
It's also pushed back on reports about the reconstruction fund for Iran.
Well, it's been reported that it includes a $300 billion reconstruction fund funded by Gulf allies. That's false?
It's false. People, you can invest.
I could argue both directions. It doesn't really matter to me. I can go pro-Trump. I can go against Trump. I could debate it. I can debate for the Bible. I can debate against it. So whichever way you want to go with it.
If you want. I mean, what am I going to do? Say nobody's ever allowed to invest? No, we're not investing. We're not putting up 10 cents. And people can decide to do that, but that's up to them.
Here in Israel, we're tracking new reports of Israeli strikes against southern Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah there. It's still not clear how these strikes could affect the broader deal. Bill?
Put a 1 in the chat if you think that Israel is the X factor of the deal, right? Tell us what you think. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Israel is the element that can make this deal go all the way left and rapidly. Or put a 2 if you don't think so. Put a 3 if you don't really follow this subject matter. Let's see. Brian has already said yes. Israel is definitely going to be an issue here. Okay. Lone says the same thing. Travis says, wow, we have a lot of people in agreement. Deborah says yes. If Deborah says yes while she's cooking over there, it has to be true. Okay. Rama says Trump is a mad dog. Well, come on up here and debate about it. Where are these debaters at? The argument has cooled down now. All right, Katie says Israel is the reason we're in the war 100%. I must agree with you.
Hey, all right, Trey, thanks. Stand by. Trey Inks, Tel Aviv. More when we get it from there.
Oh, when pretty things speak up, we know it's an issue. Let's see what she has to say. Anyone supporting Trump has to be brainwashed to the full extent. Fox News, Nation, and Newsmax had really put the screws to you. All right, thank you very much. And that's a great reminder. I have to send you something, pretty things. So I'm glad I saw you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dana?
And Senator Katie Britt is a Republican of Alabama. Thank you for being here. I know you followed this for a long time, first as a staffer and then as you came up through Congress, so you have a long-term view.
Okay, we have a Bible discussion going with a new name here, Prince. So he's asking, which Israel are we talking about? We're talking about the state of Israel. I know where you're going. You're talking about the Israel of the Bible. I get it. There's different perspectives of Israel. I won't get into it too deeply, but I gave you your information here to the masses so everybody can understand where you're coming from.
On this. Here's what President Trump said about sending the memorandum of understanding to Congress.
Senator Graham also said that an eventual agreement with Iran should be sent to Congress for review. Would you do that?
I never thought of it, but I would.
Okay, so guys, we got to stop now. We have Proud Southern Patriot says the only person who thinks pretty things is pretty is a watermelon felon. So we're going to put you in the sandbox and let you think about your behavior, because we're not going to let you come on here and disrespect pretty things. She's on the home team, and we're just not going to have it. Looks like they got to you already. No, I'm going to take care of this. You got to talk to the ladies around here with respect. It is what it is. So come back in and try again, but this time say something nice to the ladies.
I wouldn't mind.
I know you were taught better than that, right? This is how we get these cases, because people are out of pocket and they're trolling online and in person. It's not going to work here, though.
What I'd like to do is send it to Congress saying you shouldn't approve it, and I'll get it approved. Because they do whatever I say, they want to do the opposite. It's not working too well for them, by the way. But yeah, I never thought about sending it, never even thought about it, but I will send it to Congress.
What are the senators looking to understand?
Yeah, look, first off, I think he's right. Anything he says that people in this body, particularly Democrats, want to do the opposite. But I certainly look forward to taking a look at this. I think the president said it. He'll send it over once he gets it. We've heard that what we're hearing in the media is not accurate. So it'll be good to understand from him what are the parameters. Look, in my opinion, this is 47 years too late. I am grateful for the president's leadership. I'm grateful that he's actually holding Iran accountable. It'll be good for us, though, to know what those are, and particularly with regards to nuclear ambitions or lack thereof from Iran. We've heard from the president from the very beginning that he will not allow Iran to enrich uranium, that they will never be able to get a nuclear weapon. Seeing those details, being able to put those in front of Congress will be important, so we can be unified and making sure that.
Okay, we have a good comment from No Boxing. Shout out to you. You appear to be new here. Hopefully we can build together. It says Hispanics in my community who voted for Trump understand the border security has nothing to do with race and everything to do with the sovereignty. Okay, thank you for your comment. I appreciate all the people that are commenting back to back. Brian says, yes, Sunset, different ideology between us, but nothing but love your way. Okay, Brian is in here. Spreading love the Christian way. He's a Christian and he's always spreading love. That's a good thing.
We take down the greatest threat for terrorism across the.
Now, I don't want to say what I was about to say, right? Because New York is an amazing place. I'm a New Yorker, right? But it gets rough sometimes. We see what's happening with the Knicks, and after the game, I just want to let you guys know we will be covering the Knicks parade tomorrow. The teammates will actually be in the parade, so I'm going to try to get you as much great footage as possible, boots on the ground. So tune in all day tomorrow. I will be streaming continuously to show you what's happening with this parade as long as the parade lasts. They're expecting to be some beat downs out there, so we're going to try to move with intelligence to avoid you saw people getting beat up. You see what it was, right? Nobody wants to be a victim of that. So we're going to cover it either way. We're going in.
globe, and that is Iran.
Yeah, I hope you're right about that. And the Iranians have a vote in this also, and I think they view this in a very different way.
And that's going to be tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. The parade starts in New York City, but we'll be there early to get the, all the early crowd developing.
Here was just one member of parliament from yesterday. Iranian resilience forced a strategic pivot. The U.S. came to the table on Iran's...
Guys, Ryder Storm 88 is having some behavior problems. Let's get him out of here. Send him with the wind. You got to teach people how to behave nowadays. Back to school.
Terms. Now Washington must prove its commitment by ending the war against Lebanon and upholding every clause of the MOU. Any breach would met with a decisive, crushing response. The era of unilateral imposition against Iranians is over. You know, when you go into negotiations, you know how elusive the Iranians have been.
Okay.
What should our measure?
Gravedigger says that Joe Biden had to fix the country after Trump's failed pandemic response. Okay, we have a Joe Biden supporter here. Thank you.
Of confidence be once we sit down at that table, Senator?
Well, look, I mean, I think you just nailed it. You cannot trust them.
So the bottom line is Iran is saying, listen, if you don't keep the deal and if you don't keep your hands on Israel to make sure that they comply and that they're not bombing Hezbollah and everything else, you guys know I cover this very thoroughly. I know that this subject doesn't appeal to the masses, and I have to wonder why. When I cover these tough cases, I get more people. But when it comes to day-to-day living, you should want to know what's happening in the country, what's happening with the president. I'm able to look at President Trump and say he did this good, he did this bad. Joe Biden, he did this good, he did this bad. Barack Obama, the list goes on. And I think that's a good way for me to live my life. I don't just see Trump and says, oh, everything's red. He's like the son of man coming in the clouds. No, I say, no, I look at this. I didn't like this, but overall, I feel like he's this way. That's what I call moving with intelligence. But most people, they just identify with the color and they swallow any idea that comes out of the blue camp versus the red camp, whether it's right or wrong. All right. Thank you.
Never have been able to. And that is why making sure that the deterrent that President Trump has created over the last 100 days, it was there. Because if you think about this now, we know that their naval fleet, much of that is at the bottom of the ocean. We know that obviously...
Grumpy, come up. I need you to come up. I'm going to see if I can get somebody to come in and have a little debate. Let's get you up here if you can come. I know you might be working, but we want to debate about Trump or about this administration. I want to get this started on a regular basis. So, Grumpy, if you could come up, I think you could handle anybody. We're going to keep it cool, but if you can't, I understand. Let's see.
Operation Epic Fury and what it was able to do really crippled their enrichment ability.
Pretty things. I never paid $12 for a dozen of eggs either, so I understand that.
We need to make sure that that gets completely and totally off the table, that we make sure that we get every particle of that, every dust, to get it out of there, that we control the narrative on that. The strait is open. We know that much of their missile capacity.
I just dropped the link. I need a Trump supporter, and I need someone that does not agree with the president of the United States. And we're going to have a debate. Can we get two people? There was a big argument going previously. So now I'm giving you guys the floor, but no one wants to come up. I don't understand why. Daniel Price is back in the building. Shout out to you, Daniel. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Is down. You look at what we're talking about with the regime. Obviously, we are down 3 layers into that, with many of their top people being taken out by President Trump and obviously our courageous men and women in uniform. So I think that deterrence is there. But I think this is an exercise of don't trust.
Okay, President Trump lashes out at Barack Obama. You guys are going to find this the most amazing thing of it today.
To sell oil again. President Trump said just yesterday that the new regime in Tehran has been, quote, nice to deal with, that it is, quote, not radicalized, and that they are, quote, very rational people. That's the president of the United States people talking about.
Jesse says this. He says, we blocked their blockade and act like we did something. Good comment.
About the regime in Tehran that has called for the death of the United States for 47 years. And Joe, you made the point that Iran feels like it took its best punch. It also made it bet.
Guys, we welcome Grumpy to the building. I want you guys to definitely follow him. He's so amazing. He's near and dear to this channel, Watching the World. The last two numbers, is it 7321? I think so, right? If I know it by heart. Let's see.
7921.
What is it?
7921, Mel.
Okay, all right.
Don't worry though. I can get all the time myself, so.
Okay, all right. So go give him some supports. He always shows up for Watching the World. I like to promote him. So we're going to get back to this video. President Trump takes on, oh, we have a contender here. That's amazing. But we're going to get back first to President Trump takes shots at, and we say that lightly. He says some negative things. Let's clear that up, because this day and time, even though I'm using modern vernacular, people take it the wrong way. But he's focusing on Barack Obama and telling you his shortfalls. Let's put it that way.
That all the bluster from President Trump was just that, bluster, when he said a civilization is going to die tonight. If they don't come to the table and get rid of the nuclear program, we're going to hit them harder than they'll ever be hit. And it never happened. And that was a bet that this regime made, that Donald Trump was all talk. And to this point, it appears that he has been, and that none of those objectives laid out on February 28th has been achieved yet. We'll see if further negotiations go deeper into the nuclear program. But from what we're seeing this morning, nothing is there for the U.S.
Well, you know, I've said on the show before, I had a meeting at the beginning of this war in Washington with leaders, not only thought leaders and journalists, but also leaders from other countries, people, members of government of other countries and from the region, who kept saying, America must finish the job it started. We didn't want them to get into this war, but America must finish the job it started. And I kept hearing this, and I said, that's not going to happen. And they became quite indignant, and they said, it has to happen. There's no other choice. They said, you're dealing with Donald Trump.
Yes, dealing with the President of the United States. We have a new person to the panel. Name is BR. Could you tell us your position? Are you pro-Trump or against? Are you there, BR?
Yeah.
All right. So are you pro-Trump or are you against Trump?
I'm not a fool, so you take it how you want to.
Oh, okay, we can't do that. We have to be able to have a conversation here. This can't be
This is a
hostile.
conversation. I'm not for Trump.
Okay, so all right, that helps me along. Are you interested in having a discussion, perhaps a
Yeah.
light debate? All right. I just asked that you guys keep it cool. Grumpy, you okay with going back and forth with him?
Yeah, I like debates.
All right. So what do you guys want to? Are you guys okay with debating? Let's see. Is Donald Trump showing strength as the president of the United States? Can you debate that?
Yeah, we can debate that. I'll let him go first.
Okay. All right. So I'll give each of you guys a minute first. All right. And welcome to the stage, guys. It's so amazing to have you guys. All right. So your first minute, and then you guys can have, let's say, 3 minutes to go with your argument, and then you have a minute to counter. All right. Which one of you would like to go first? Well, actually, we'll start off with BR. What are the issues that you have with you can start off with your argument.
So you already asked the question. You said, is Trump showing strength as the president of the United States? I'm trying to figure out how he's showing strength when can you answer, why are we even in Iran? Why are we in Iran right now? Explain that to me.
Why are we in Iran? Because
that's what I said. Why are we in Iran?
there was a line in the sand drawn when they were assassinating their own people during openly protesting, and then it has aggressed since the early line in the sand is why we're in Iran, because they were killing their own protesters, and Trump said, you keep doing it, we're coming in after you. And then it's grown from death upon innocent citizens, which is a human rights violation, to aggressively move more towards wiping out their nuclear weapon program, because they have been threatening to blow up their neighbors for several years, which this has been an issue for multiple presidencies.
Really? Because didn't Obama have a nuclear deal with
No,
Iran?
Obama had a nuclear bribery, which the whole thing
No,
was
no,
a
no, no,
joke.
no, 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 no. Did
Nations and all
Obama
that.
have a
Hold
nuclear
on.
deal with Iran? Yes or no?
Circumstantially, yes.
And Trump, when he became the president, did Trump rip that deal up and go against the deal that Obama had set forth that was successful and was working, that allowed inspectors to go into Iran and ensure that they didn't create nuclear weapons and we had no issue from them? Did Trump rip that deal up?
Technically, no, because Iran was
No, 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 no. It's
denying.
not technically no. Let's stick with facts. Did Trump
We're,
rip the deal up? Yes or no?
well, no, he didn't rip the deal up. It was actually more of a United Nations issues, but that's besides the point. The point
Explain that.
was
Explain how it was a United Nations issue and it wasn't a Trump issue. Because when does Trump answer to anybody in the United Nations? He doesn't even rock with the United Nations. He don't even want to be a part of that. This is by quote. Let's deal with facts here, brother. Trump ripped that deal up.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Let me just cut in for a minute. For the sake that we're not speaking over each other and everybody can hear one another, let's just break it down. Give your argument for, let's say, 30 seconds to a minute, then bounce it back, and it starts to sound like an argument. So let's do it that way.
all right.
That's what a debate is. But we can't argue with the facts, sir. We got to stick with the facts. Don't try to lie and skew. Stick with the facts. Trump backed out of that deal and violated the agreement that Obama successfully made.
Is it my turn? So
yeah, it's your turn. Go ahead.
So technically, Iran had originally violated the deal with Obama, is why the deal had gone proscribed under President Trump. Because every 4 years, Iran has this little roller coaster up and down with every different president. So you can't say it was an adult positive plan that Obama wrote, because even Iran had violated multiple times.
Cite your source.
They
Show me
weren't
how they
allowing,
violated.
they weren't allowing they weren't allowing the inspectors. They were denying everything. They had multiple.
This is false. Cite your sources.
It's
Show me
not
where
false.
that's at.
You got it.
It's in multiple UN frickin' writings and world documentations that they were denying the inspectors come in and check for what was going on.
That's not true.
It is true. You go look.
It's not true. Okay, show me where I can look.
Go look up UN specs where they were denying the inspectors come in for multiple years during the nuclear resource program.
Under Obama, that happened, right? That's what
Well,
you said.
During Obama, during President's first term, and then when he pulled the deal, and it was a complete cluster mess under Biden. Even Kamala Harris said that
There was
Iran
no
wasn't
deal under Biden because the president of the United States, Donald Trump, ripped the deal up. So what do you mean under Biden? There was no deal. Biden chose not to, for whatever reason, he chose not to redo that deal, but it was ripped up under the presidency before him.
Even Kamala Harris said that we need to worry about Iran's nuclear program. So it wasn't.
I'm not debating that, sir. What I'm saying is, if we were so worried about this plan, why did the president of the United States rip that deal up? Now here we are in 2026, 10 years later, we're alleging that this is the issue, this is a big deal, but we already had a plan in place years ago and it cost us less money. Now Trump is going in, he wants to give them 29 times what we paid in that nuclear deal that Obama successfully made years ago. How is this advantage to the American taxpayer? How is this showing strength?
Okay, let him go. Give him a good minute or so.
So technically, that's a falsehood. Obama gave over 60 some billion. Actually, we gave no money under Obama either. We just released back money. That was what we had. So we gave actually physical no money. It was just money that was we had sanctions on anyway. So, but it was still over 70 some billion dollars. Same with President Trump. All we're doing is releasing tanctions that was already taken away. So we're not giving any money to Iran. So that's a falsehood. And when technically, as president of the United States, when we do national security and world security, everything concludes to the United States. So if the deal went bad, that Obama originally did. It is up to the next successor president to decide what is best for national security for the United States. And so it doesn't matter what Clinton did, what Bush W did, what Bush H did, what Reagan did, what Nixon did. Each president themselves set upon themselves for national security. So if the deal under Obama went south at any time, the next president has to make decisions what is best for the security and safety of the United States. So it doesn't matter if Obama had this set deal, because we've already seen Iran for the last 47 years. They do this for every president. They lie their butts off. Every president they've lied. So I don't know where you got this. Some that we have every president sticks on what every president does, because every president has their own set bounds of rules and policies.
We got to let him go now. It's been over a minute. All right, brother, go ahead. BR.
So you're saying that every single president has to start from the beginning? So every time a president comes in, everything just starts over. We start everything over. Every deal has to be redone. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that's what typically happens. Every president changes they go on their policies and what they believe is for national security for the United States. Obama changed Bush's policies. Bush changed Clinton's policies. Clinton changed Bush's policies, so on and so forth. It's been this way since the beginning of time with the country. Every president has their own set of policies and what they want to see for national security, what their advisors tell them, which is best benefit at the time happening.
No, what I think is Trump is an immature leader that no matter how good Obama, Biden, or any other president did, he will try to go in and undo everything in the benefit of stroking his ego, just like he did with the healthcare, right? He wanted to rip the whole deal up and then put his plan in, which he never even came out and said what the details of that are. He has a history of ripping up others' accomplishments or trying to do it, but luckily the Congress hasn't allowed him to do that yet.
Well, Obamacare has been a complete disaster in the long run. It has caused Medicaid to virtually go bankrupt. We are paying 3 times the money that it should have ever cut into in the first place. So somewhere you have to find a fairity in there where you can make it actually work and break it down to where it's not overly costing. And I know right now that everybody's against oligarchies and all that, but that's what the ACA is. It basically makes your drug companies and your hospitals filthy, dirty rich, and nobody's getting actually where they're supposed to be getting.
So if it's such a disaster, then how come the Republicans didn't get rid of it? How come one of the top Republicans, Senator John McCain, before he died, he ensured that we kept the Obamacare? Oh, wait. And it's such a success that y'all won't even call it Obamacare. I'm surprised that you call it Obamacare. It's the Affordable Care Act, right? Because it's not really called Obamacare. Y'all called it Obamacare because you thought it was going to be a disaster, but it turned out to work pretty well. Does that mean it's perfect? No, but maybe we should adjust it. But you guys don't want to work together to adjust it. You just want to call it a terrible disaster. And that's what Trump wants to do. He wants to call it a disaster. He wants to call it Obamacare. And he wants to crap on the program. But then he wants to take that same program and call it Trump Care and act like he did something. Trump's entire legacy has been on the back of the Obama administration. All he had to do was come in and rely off of all the things that Obama did. Obama inherited this country at a time where we were losing jobs at a historic rate. We had banks defaulting. You understand? He avoided a massive recession and brought that country back and put us on track to have one of the greatest economies in history. And then Trump came in and then acted like the economy was booming because of him. Then he failed to respond to COVID-19 because of his ego. He tried to tell Americans, oh, there's nothing to worry about. Even he caught COVID and he had to act like, oh, there's nothing going on, guys. See, remember he got on at the White House? He came out and acted like he wasn't sick, trying to cover that cough up. See, I'm good. Knowing he got a special cocktail that's not going to be afforded to the normal American. And then the country had to shut down because he didn't shut down that border in time.
Okay, brother, let him pop in again now. Go ahead.
So a lot of misconceptions about COVID itself, but the main objective as a leader is not to cause mass hysteria. So yes, if he plays it back to and he tried to shut down the border before it became excessively into the United States. Congress denied the action, so you can't blame Trump exactly for what happened during COVID. The
That's
point of it
false.
is, though, it's not false. You can go back and check it out.
It's
Anyway,
false.
it's not
I have a
false.
firsthand experience.
Let's just let
One
him
of the
go.
first people, I was
Let him
at
have
Lackland Air Force Base
let him have
when
his minute. Let him
when
go. Let
those
him go.
COVID.
Go ahead.
Anyways, that's a complete falsehood.
I
What
know
you
the
just said.
truth. That's false. What you're saying. Go ahead.
Are you going to let me finish, or are you going to? Anyways, so
Just go ahead, Grumpy. Let him have his full minute, just like he didn't talk when you were talking. Let's go. Come on.
that's a total falsehood because even at every leader aspect of the world, you don't want to cause mass hysteria. You don't want people to go, "Oh my God, we're all going to freaking die," which basically happened after Biden came in. Everybody was so worried, and I've never had the vaccine. I've never caught COVID. I was in all the hotspots during COVID. Even the data showed only a certain percentage of the population was at risk for COVID. So, and I don't. So I don't see the whole. It wasn't a failure on Trump's behalf because if Congress was holding against him, the president only has so much power he can do. So you can't blame Trump for
Kind of
every
like
single
him going
thing.
to war with Iran without Congress approval.
Never need Congress approval to go to war. Congress already passed that law for multiple
Oh, you
presidents.
don't? So why did he need approval to do anything else? Because that's kind of one of the most egregious things you could do as a president, right? When did Trump ever care about approval from Congress? He does what he has to do. It's a national emergency. What is he waiting for Congress for? He don't wait for Congress for any other issue. I'm confused about that.
Bush went to war without Congress. Obama went to war without Congress. So I don't know what you're talking about. Multiple presidents have
What
gone to
war did
war.
Obama go to without Congress approval?
Afghanistan. Congress never declared war. Congress never gave Obama approval to go to war.
Oh, Obama was the first president to go to Afghanistan? We weren't in Afghanistan under Bush?
He can particularly know Obama actually exculpated
That's a lie. See, now you're lying. My father served in the United States Army, and he was deployed to Afghanistan multiple times under Bush.
Hold on. Grumpy, let him go and get his thoughts out, and then I'll give you a minute. All right, brother, go ahead with your flow. Go ahead.
Oh, I was done. You said that Obama was the first president to go to Afghanistan, brother. My father deployed to Afghanistan. I watched him go for years, multiple times. So I'm confused. What war did Obama start? That war was already going on, brother.
War.
So hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, Grumpy. So let Grumpy go a complete minute without being interrupted. Let's go.
Obama exculpated the war in Afghanistan without congressional approval, what multiple presidents have done over time. You keep blaming Trump for every little insignificant thing Trump does because you have this animosity against Trump. The problem is it's a falsehood because every president has pretty much done the same similar actions that Trump is doing right now as president of the United States. I don't understand why everybody has this. Oh
I'm
my
just
God!
confused though. We were already in Afghanistan. We already had boots on the ground in Afghanistan. So how did he start a war in Afghanistan? Bush already had troops there.
We had troops there, but we weren't engaging in physical conflict at the time. We had troops there during Trump. We had troops there during Biden until Biden pulled them out. So once again, you're still going off the falsehood that everything Trump does is bad when every other president has done the same exact thing as Trump. You just want to blame Trump for everything he does, but every president has done the same thing Trump is doing. Same thing with immigration, same thing with ICE. Obama had immigration raids with ICE during his all over the country. Nobody said anything. Trump does it. Oh my God, it's the end of the war. It's the biggest racial thing ever happening. So Obama cut funding to the HBCUs. Trump reinstated them. Both presidencies. So we can go back and forth bad about which president's done it worse and which president's done good. The problem is you're only trying to blame Trump for every single individual thing that he does, and when he's done the same thing as every other president. So
Did you say Trump funded HBCUs? What?
Yeah, he did. Obama kept billions to HBCUs. Trump has reinstated it. There's more money now.
Obama also funded HBCUs. This has been going on for years. What Trump did, he made it to where they didn't have to come back apply annually. He didn't give any
Obama,
extra money to HBCUs.
Okay, let him respond. Go ahead, Grumpy.
Obama actually physically cut funding to HBCUs during his first term. That is a fact.
So if this is a fact that he cut, was there a reason? Was the country not in a recession?
We've been in a financial downfall since Clinton. So
No.
I mean,
But was the country in a recession when under Obama's first term?
so what you're
The
saying
housing
is
market crash,
hold on.
the investing market crash, banks crashed, the auto industry crashed, millions of jobs were lost. I'm confused. Of course, he probably cut funding to everything. Let's talk about what Trump has cut the funding to. Did he not put somebody in charge of the budget? Elon Musk and his cronies. Let's talk about budget. Since you want to talk about budget, did he not put them in charge of things where they were just taking money out of places that probably needed it? Disaster after disaster was going on. Let's talk about the budget under this presidency, right? Would you agree with him putting Elon Musk in charge of the budget of this of the country?
Well, see, Congress is in control of the budget, and Congress never. So, anyways, besides that point, Elon was brought in.
Hold on, brother.
Doge, right?
You got to let him go. Give him a clear minute so he can get his thoughts out.
Elon was brought in as an advisor to the president to make financial cuts in certain areas and overinflated government spending, because our government's pissing money away faster than a Taco Bell exercise after drinking all weekend long. You go to Taco Bell, the government's pooping out money like we can't afford. So yes, and every president, that's another thing, every president has had a financial advisor that has helped them to break down, cut back, to set an annual set budget. That's what presidents are there for, to send Congress a budget. So if you can't find places to cut money out of the budget, then you're not doing your job as the president of the United States. So once you get, you're throwing the fallacy out there that Trump is just screwing things, but every president has done the same thing Trump has done.
I like what you said. I agree with one thing that you just said. Can I say this one point? You said that the government is responsible for cutting, right? And that's why when Doge was going in and slashing his budget and cutting stuff up, that the Democrats had to fight them in court because they were doing this illegally. Is that not a fact?
No, that's not a fact.
That's not a fact. So you want to lie about this? The Democrats have not been fighting tooth and nail since Trump has come into the presidency, and he's been cutting and slashing things under the guidance of Elon Musk and the Doge, right? The Department of Government Efficiency. That's not the truth.
The president of the United States has the authorial power to, after Congress has already set a budget, the president has the authority to cut federal funding in certain areas that is costing. So, yes, Democrats will fight Trump over everything, because even though they've done the same things thousands of times over, because they're doing the same thing you're doing, they're blaming a fallacy that's not true.
Okay, I have to
What's
pause.
not true?
I have to pause you guys here. I'm sorry to do this to you. This subject matter is pretty good, but let's go a little bit better. Let's talk about the policy between Joe Biden and Donald Trump on the border. I think the audience would appreciate that better. Which one of the presidents had the best policy? We're only going to go on for the next maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll call it a day.
The president that the Americans weren't killed for trying to get to their home.
Can you expound on that?
Oh, what's the innocent mother that just got done dropping her kids off that was shot by ICE agents in the street?
Okay, I get it. Go.
So Renee Good assaulted a federal officer with her vehicle, and you can pull up multiple.
That's been debunked. You can't continue to tell that lie.
Even CNN video expert says that she hit him with the vehicle. So moving on, multiple women
hit him with the vehicle.
One at a time, guys. Come on, let's be gracious to the audience and let them hear you. So we got to do one at a time. Come on.
Renee Good assaulted an officer. She was already indicated that she was in a systematic, where her whole entire thing was go out and harass and bug and stop ICE agents from doing their job, which is a crime. Under federal guidelines, that is a crime. That's not protesting. You cannot obstruct an officer from doing their job. Federal officers are officers to do immigration enforcement. You cannot stop that. Renee Good.
Is Renee Good an illegal immigrant?
Does not matter if she was an illegal immigrant or not. What she did was a violation of law, and she broke multiple laws.
No,
she
wasn't. Did you watch the video, sir?
I did.
She was trying to get out of his way.
Every analyst out there has proven that she struck him with the vehicle before the first fire happened. I'm
Can you
sorry.
name what analyst? Can you name those analysts?
CNN did, MSNBC did it, Fox did it. There's multiple. It's not false. You don't watch the news. You don't pay any.
Grumpy, let him go. Give him a minute. Go ahead, brother.
It's not true, brother. There's multiple camera angles. She didn't even hit the guy. You know why we know she didn't hit the guy? Because he was able to slide out the way and put bullets through the driver's side window. She never hit the officer. She wasn't trying to hit the officer. Matter of fact, before he killed her, what did she say? She said, I love you, or something. She said, or not, I love you. She said, I don't know, but on the side of the window, she was being very nice to the officer. It was actually her wife that was outside of the car, not driving, that was agitated. Renee Good was not even mad at the ICE officer. She was getting out of the way, like she was told to do.
Okay,
she was told to stop, even under Ohio.
I'm not mad at you. There it is. It's in the comments. She said, "I'm not mad at you, dude."
Even under state jurisdiction, the officer was 100% in the right. So even under state statute, he was in the right to what he did. So you can't dispute.
Do you think that ICE is trained properly?
I don't think any law enforcement's trained properly. So that's a false argument.
I disagree. I think law enforcement is trained properly. I think military members go through extensive training. ICE agents, however, they seem to just be hiring whoever to do the job. Matter of fact, even Trump doesn't think so, because didn't he fire the director of ICE and the so-called ICE commander? Hasn't he been firing them? Why did he fire them if they're doing their job so properly?
He retired. He wasn't fired, but
no, he was fired. Trump fired him. See, you're doing a lot of lying. We got to pull up some of these articles, man. He fired the ICE commander and he fired the director of ICE. Why was that, sir? Come on, man. You watch the news all day, right?
Well, he wasn't fired. He moved back into his California department, and then he has retired.
That's the story that you have to use for cope, because another failure by Donald Trump.
How's it a failure? We're still deporting immigrants, so it's not. Immigration's still being enforced. So how's it a failure?
And they were doing that. So why were they fired? If they were doing such a great job and the training was on point, why did he have to fire these guys?
I don't know. Can we go back? We can go through a whole bunch of presidents and who's been fired under different administrations.
I think the host was pulling up the video there. You know,
I need a minute. You guys can go.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you what happened with her getting hit, but just give me a moment. I gotta find it. It's been so long now.
Yeah.
But if you pull up the CNN video expert, he breaks it down to the point where he was struck before the first bullet was shot.
He wasn't struck. I watched the body cam. I watched the wife was filming. There's multiple angles of it. Everybody saw that she wasn't struck. That was y'all coping. That was y'all coping.
There was no body cam. He was holding his cell phone.
Or
body cam.
Oh, there we go. He was holding his cell phone. That's correct. You're right.
When he was standing
never struck with the vehicle.
When she was standing in front of the car and she spread her tires out, that is assault with a weapon. He was 100% justified in the shooting.
She was giving two different orders for multiple officers.
There was only one officer at the window talking to her. When she spat off with the other officer in front of her, she used her vehicle as a weapon under state statute.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, guys, bear with me. Let's get the facts, all right? This is the video expert, so we're going to check it out here. And thank you, guys. Guys, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Brother, do you have a channel? Grumpy, what's your channel? Tell everybody how to follow you.
Grumpy7291. I typically go by Grumpy's Hangout. We do a lot of structure about right politics, and sometimes we have a lot of fine. Sometimes we just get grumpy with each other. So
Okay,
I like to
great.
do that.
And our other brother here, can you just shout yourself out, please?
I don't have a channel. I'm just here
Okay.
to argue with Grumpy.
All right. No, we appreciate it, but make sure you lock in with me. I need to be able to contact you for more of these. Okay, guys, you ready? Let's go. We're gonna check out the video.
Is profanity. This is disturbing content. Here it is.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Oh.
CNN's Josh Campbell is standing by to walk us through this. We also have John Miller with us, who we'll bring in here momentarily. Josh, take us through this.
Well, this is a critical new angle. This was the actual vantage point of the officer. And we know that not many immigration officers actually wear body-worn cameras. But in this instance, the immigration agent was holding his phone up, essentially filming this encounter, which we can now see in this video obtained by our colleague Holmes Librand. So in the video, you see that the officers are making contact with Renee Good there. She's parked somewhat perpendicular in a street. And there's another woman that's there, which is outside the vehicle. And you can tell, as the exchange there with Renee Good, that, she's being somewhat pleasant. The other woman is, kind of mouthy, and, this is obviously a bit tense. She, tells the agent at one point, why don't you go get some lunch, big boy. You also see critically, and I'll get to this in a second, bystanders behind the vehicle. We've seen other angles. This one shows us, again, the vantage point of that officer. Another agent orders Renee Good out of the vehicle. This agent then walks around. That is the moment that she then takes off. And on that audio, what we hear, it appears that you can actually hear friction on the phone. It appears from other angles that the agent was indeed struck by that vehicle. But you hear on the audio, it appears friction on the phone. That could be from the vehicle strike. That could be from, the phone on his clothing. But then it appears.
Okay, so he says that the officer was struck by the vehicle.
That's not true. He was not struck. He said it appears. There's another angle. He was not struck with the vehicle, bro. There's been multiple camera angles. Analysts are rushing first to the news. Yeah, if you were to watch that video, you would think he got hit by the car. There's a whole nother angle. There's a whole nother phone that showed that he was able to move out the way. And he did. He moved out the way and he put 2 bullets, or how many ever bullets, through the window.
Okay.
That's just a fact. He was not hit by that car.
All right, let Grumpy go.
And they told her to go.
I know the other video. I'm going to I know which one you're talking about. But anyway, Grumpy, you can respond to him for your minute. Clear, no obstruction, please.
Despise anything that there's been multiple videos showing that he was struck. Anyway, even under state statute, the second she sped those tires off and she headed for the officer, he was legally justified to use lethal force. It does not matter. You have to go by what the law says, not about your feelings. Well, state statute says the officer was completely cleared of any wrongdoing because of her actions. Your actions
Trump is in charge, and he's going to protect his people, just like he pardoned the January 6 rioters who were stunning and tasing police officers in his name and his honor. Were you out there?
January 6th was a protest that got out of hand. But if we're going to
criminal actions occurred, correct?
Can we play that game about the summer of love where more officers were assaulted, billions of dollars in damage was done? So you're just apples and oranges, just trying to find excuses.
No, I'm making a point that Trump does not care about law. Trump is going to do what he wants. If you do it in his honor, those ICE agents are working in his honor. Of course, they're going to say no wrongdoing happened. And then he ended up firing the commander and firing the director of ICE shortly after this.
Using the same video.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's see what this is all about. Let's see if this helps.
Forensic tools as agencies like the FBI. This nonprofit group is giving us a unique look at Renee Good's fatal shooting.
We're based in Paris, France, and we specialize in visual forensics.
Francesco Sebregondi says he and his colleagues at Index are able to combine videos and create animations based on frame matching between multiple videos and photogrammetry, which Index says provides highly accurate measurements of time and distance that allows them to create animations.
And so, for example, we can place in the 3D model the vehicle exactly in the position as we see them in the images, but then are able to look at the scene from another angle because we have a 3D model of the scene.
The videos show angles from behind Good's car, from above, and from the video recording by the phone of the agent who fired the shots. Here is what Index concluded. The study is inconclusive as to whether Good's car actually did or did not make contact with the ICE agent in front of it. The Index study says it is clear that the agent was seen alongside the car as it turns to the right and is no longer a threat of running him down. And at this point, he fires a second shot at Good through the driver's side window, and then a third.
It was not an immediate physical danger, as in particular with regards to the second and third shot, as I think it can be seen when we freeze the video itself, but also more clearly once we change angle within the 3D model.
With Good mortally wounded, the car goes out of control down the street and crashes. DHS's use of force policy says that an agent should avoid placing himself in front of a vehicle that could be a threat and advises against shooting at moving vehicles. Beyond questions about whether the shooting was within DHS or DOJ regulations, the question over whether the second and third shots could be justified legally may never be tested in a court of law. The Deputy Attorney General previously announced that the agent's actions were justified and will not be subject to criminal investigation.
Of course, we're investigating the Renee Good shooting, but we're investigating them in a way that respects people's rights.
Sebregondi says Index will continue monitoring the shooting as new elements and any new images emerge. Okay, inconclusive. What do you guys think about that?
I think that was a perfect illustration of what happened. Go ahead, Grumpy.
I'm going to go with the simple fact that just in the same time frame, another woman in her vehicle was shot dead, and the news completely ignored it by law enforcement for doing the exact same thing that Renee Good did. So you still got to go by the statute of the law, what an officer's allowed to do. So the fact of it is, don't try to run over a cop. If she did or hit him, did not, she still used her vehicle as a weapon, which still under the law gives him allowed to use deadly force. I mean, so it's still a. I'll let you go.
You think that mother was trying to murder a cop? Or he's not even a cop. I'm not going to disrespect cops, like our real law enforcement. Shout out to law enforcement that do their job properly. Do you really think that mother was trying to kill and murder a cop over an incident where she would not even be in trouble? She wasn't going to jail for that.
According to the reporting of the child daycare organizations that she was in, to stop at any protocol, ICE, with any means, yes, I do. In her mindset, yes, I do. And everyone
he was out of the way, and she was driving, and you saw the illustration. He shot through the side of the window, not through the front. But by the way,
okay.
Earlier the whole point was, does ICE need better training? Did you not hear what they said about how law enforcement is actually trained not to stand in front of a vehicle, not to shoot at moving vehicles?
And
do you know how better training could have prevented this incident?
And you know how many cops shoot in vehicles because people are trying to run them over the car because they've got it in front or moved or just walking around the vehicle to do investigations. So it once again, it's still false negative, still false argument.
Not often. Police officers are actually trained not to stand in front of vehicles for that exact reason.
There are many police vehicle shootings in the United States yearly. So you never know what your mindset's going to be during the incident. It does happen. But, the point of it is, though, when you're virtually trying to defend yourself, we had the same thing with people on the Karmelo case. Was he using defense? Everybody thinks so. So you can't pick and choose what you think is or is not self-defense.
That's a false equivalency, sir. We're talking about a law enforcement that is supposed to be professionally trained, and he works for the government, We expect the best of the best from our law enforcement officers because that's what they are. They're highly trained and highly qualified. I expect him to handle this with care and love because that was an American citizen that was murdered in the streets, and she shouldn't have been. That was a mother that should have made it back home. That's
He's
it.
human. He's human.
Okay,
I
guys.
mean,
So I'm sorry to stop you guys. Let's talk about the border. Who had the best policy on the border? President Trump or President Biden? Let's go.
I'll let him go first.
What is Trump's policy on the border? Trying to figure out what is his policy?
Grumpy?
Grumpy, I was hoping you would help me out. What's Trump's policy on the border?
Well, Trump has a closed border policy, which you have to use immigration ports of entry and use your H-1B visas or your regular standard visa policy, which was under Obama and Clinton. You can't just freely-nilly walk across into the United States without cause.
Didn't Obama import more people than Donald Trump? He's pretty strict on that border. He didn't play. He had ICE as well. They just weren't in the streets making noise.
Actually, ICE was in the streets during Obama. There was multiple ICE protests during Obama. There was many incidents during Obama's term with ICE.
Right, that's what I said. ICE was there. They just weren't shooting American citizens.
But they were assaulting them. They were using tear gas. They were doing raids. There was multiple similarities with Obama and Trump. So, was there a few incidents? Was there a few incidents? Yes, there was. But once again, officers are humans, and they have to make split-second decisions. So I can't hold them. If the courts want to hold them accountable, that's fine. But they are still human, and they still have the right to do their job and go home safely to their family. You know what?
So Biden had an open border, correct?
Biden had an open border.
Why was the border open?
Because they were not enforcing border laws. They were just willy-nilly just letting them go. But nobody knows why Biden had an open border. Nobody has any conclusion of why Biden just said F it, and just nobody knows. Even his own presidency,
So under Biden, they weren't deporting criminals?
Small few, but not like they were under Bush, Clinton, Obama, and Trump. No, they weren't enforcing actual physical immigration laws. That's why we have so many outstanding criminals that going on in the United States. I mean, I don't know. It's just a weird one to me that you break the law, you should face consequences, correct?
Yeah, and that happened under Biden, if I'm not mistaken. What's the difference? Biden was deporting criminals, Obama was deporting criminals, Trump is deporting criminals, and some people that are not criminals.
Well, everybody crosses the U.S. border is a criminal under statute of limitations. So that's everybody.
Wait, don't you have the right to due process even if you're an immigrant?
Under the law written Congress under Obama, you do not. You can, if you're under here in a certain time frame, you can be deported without due process, fast track right out of the United States under certain. I think it's 90 days under the Obama law. So
if you're a criminal, right?
You cross the border, you're a criminal.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are. You are a criminal. If you cross into this country illegally, you
need a fact check on that because I'm pretty sure if you're an immigrant, they give you time.
It is a misdemeanor.
Due process for that. They don't just kick you out. It hasn't been that.
The fast track law that was written and passed under Obama, I believe it's 90 days. If you're here within under a 90-day period, you are not subjected to due process. You can be right back over the border. This is law.
Yeah, we got to fact check that because I'm pretty sure even immigrants are getting due process in the country. Yeah, it's been going on for years, brother. They don't just kick you out the country. You may not agree with that, and some Americans may not agree with that, but immigrants are afforded rights in this country.
To a certain point under the statute of the law written under Obama, at a certain time frame, they can be without due process. They can be checked, set, and automatically back. Biden used the same law. If you were caught at the border, you were fingerprinted, you're ID'd, and you're sent right back across the border. This is the law. I mean, every president has used it. Bush has used the same
All right,
law.
I just looked it up. No, immigrants in the U.S., regardless of their legal status, are entitled to due process rights under the Constitution, which protects them from being deported without a fair legal process. Let's get to
And
the facts, sir.
Obama made it so they can deport, fast-track deportation.
Obama can't do that. It's constitutional. It's a constitutional right because this country was built on the back of immigrants. That's what makes America great. Immigration.
No, what makes America great is Americans. Americans make this
Right.
country great. And I'm an American.
And a lot of Americans are immigrants, are descendants of immigrants.
Okay, let him go for a minute. Go ahead, Grumpy.
I'm an American. You're an American. We built this country. We have made this country great. This country was not built on the back of immigrants. It was built on the back of Americans.
I'm a descendant of slaves, sir.
Were you? Can you prove it, or that's a false argument?
Yes, I absolutely can prove it. I'm from Savannah, Georgia.
So
my great grandmother was a slave. This is a fact, sir.
Anyways, you're still an American. You were still here. You've still built this country. You're still part of this country. Saying that immigrants negates everything about you being an American and you building in society. So you're saying that we as Americans are so worthless that we have to transplant hundreds of thousands of millions of people in this country because we can't build our own country is what you're saying. You're completely negating every American in this country, that we're worthless, that we can't do the job, we can't build our own country, that we don't know how to make our country.
No, that's not what I'm saying, but I know a lot of Americans. When y'all say Americans, you mean white Americans often. And I believe that you guys get offended that sometimes other countries, other people, immigrants can do things better than some Americans can.
So I'm going to tell you a little story.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm going to tell you a little story. I broke my neck. Genetically, I have two black guys in my neck. I have two black cadaver bones in my neck from African descent people because of my genetics. I don't give two brat poops about color. I care about what the statute of the law says. So don't throw me that
law
whole.
says that you cannot be deported without due process.
Let him go. Go ahead. Finish out.
You can be fast-tracked under the law without due process if you're here at a certain time period. That is a fact.
Unconstitutional, sir. That's not how it works. If you're a criminal, I mean, yeah, we got to get you up out of here. But
if you
according
cross
to the Constitution,
you are a criminal under the federal statute. It is a crime to come in this country illegally without paperwork. It is a crime.
Sir, are you conservative?
I am conservative. It is a crime to come in this country illegally. We have borders for a reason. Every country, it is a crime to enter into illegally there. You go to Mexico.
Kind of liberal. You sounded a little liberal on this issue, sir, because according to the Constitution, they have a right to be here. They have a right to due process. And guess what? They pay taxes as well.
It costs us more money to take care of them than they are paying into federal tax.
They are taxpayers. The people that are here on the books and they're going through that process, they're taxpayers, sir.
Which is a small minimum fee. And technically, it's still a crime to work in the United States illegal without actual paperwork. So you're saying that it's okay for millions of employers to falsely negate on their federal tax obligations?
Hey, I'm just saying this is a very complicated issue. This is something that we got to work towards and build and look at the facts. But hey, the fact is they deserve a legal process according to the Constitution. And that's something that I would expect someone that's conservative to agree with, because you guys are based on the Constitution, right?
And we give due process to millions and millions of people that we deport. I'm going off what the statute says that
we have to.
If you're caught within a certain period, and Congress passed it, United States U.S. Supreme Court agreed with it, said it was 100% constitutional. So we're splitting hairs here, all right? If the Congress, the president, and the courts decide that it was constitutional at the time when the law was built, put in the fast track law, it was constitutional. The problem with the Constitution, it's a living document. It's just more than just a stone written piece of paper. That's why you have so many people that invest so much time to be constitutional scholars to figure out what is and what is not in the limitations. Okay, so
So earlier, right, I asked about Biden having an open border. You know that was false.
Well, you tell that to the over 400,000 children that were illegally brought into the country that were just thrown all over people that it wasn't open. You tell that to the thousands of people that their family members have died because of illegal immigration. You tell them that Biden did a beautiful job.
So there's nobody that's crossed the border since Trump has been president?
Very limitational. It's been dropped down to over 90%. Are there still people coming across? Yes. I have friends down in Texas that work for Border Patrol that every day they're still capturing people. So it's ongoing process.
Do you think immigrants murder more people or American citizens?
Well, technically, because of the new crime stat, this is funny. It was 22% white, 25% black, and it's up to 49% Hispanic illegal immigrant right now that are committing the majority of all your crimes under new FBI criminal stats.
Can you cite your source? I like to fact check that because that's just kind of impossible.
New FBI crime stats. It was 22 white, 25 black. It was like 12% other, and it was like up to 49% Hispanic.
So
Okay.
Hispanic means immigrant to you?
No, I said Hispanic other, which concludes most. Well, we have immigrants from all over the country. You asked who was committing the most crime, and our majority of immigrants.
So you just made a false statement.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry to stop you here. All right. I just want to do this because of the demand. This is we're called a crime-free zone, so there's no beef or whatever you say. I don't want anybody taking any smoke. But was it lawful? Was Karmelo Anthony? Was it self-defense? That's what the question is.
So
go ahead, BR. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Was it self-defense? I am not aware because I don't. I feel like the details of the case are still being skewed. I would like to see the video. Why don't we just be transparent? Why make the case private? Open it up so we can make a view for ourselves. Because I'm hearing different witness testimonies. If we go off the court transcript that you've been going off of, it seems like technically it's not self-defense because of the use of force. Did it match the use of force? However, if there was a surrounding and there was people, multiple aggressors towards one person, maybe it is. But from the details that I have, I can't necessarily say it's self-defense, but I don't believe it is a murder. I believe at most manslaughter is where I would put that at.
Okay, Grumpy, your minute.
So, actually, I had you brought this up the other day in the members chat only, and I got to thinking about it because you said that he was being like this, right? So if he's like this and his hand is in a backpack, right? So his hand, so the knife is in the backpack, and he's basically the hand is trapped, correct? The arm is blocked if he's like this. So, and I got to thinking about this the other. So he's in a sitting position, and the other guy's supposedly standing over him. My question is, and this has been driving me nuts since the member thing, is which angle is the wound? Because in my opinion, self-defense, nothing. To me, I'm coming to the conclusion it was an incidental death. I'm not even going for murder anymore. Because if his hand is pinched, his hand is on the knife, right? He should have, and I want to know why they didn't do any kind of imaging for bruising on the young man. I don't think it was a purpose murder. I really don't. I think because if he has a knife like this, he's trapped. So it wasn't an upward angle. It wasn't a downward angle. So it was a side puncture. It was an accident when he came in and grabbed him. He was accidentally jabbed. I'm not saying it was self-defense. I'm just saying that I don't believe it was murder anymore.
Okay, so let me get a good 3 minutes with you guys, and then we're going to talk about it really quickly. All right, we're just going to close this out in about 10 minutes for sure. I'm going to set the stage. This is what they're saying. Can you guys mute because I'm getting some kind of backdraft? Okay, so Karmelo pulls up And the picture that they're painting is that he says to the guys who are all minding their own business, "You guys suck ass." That's basically how this whole thing started. And so then Hunter in the video with his mother, he says, this guy walks up and he starts talking to us, and and I turn around and I say to him, who are you? Karmelo says, I'm a nobody, something like that. That's the other testimony. And then Hunter tells him to leave. Hunter says Austin takes over. Then we know they go back and forth. Austin goes at Karmelo, and according to the guy, his name starts with the H. He was 16 years old. He says that Austin hit Karmelo with a lineman's drill. Okay, the guy before him, his name was Jay. He actually said Austin started to pick up Karmelo. All right. Now, this is the key that you have to understand. One of the guys say he told Austin, don't do it, because I feel like Karmelo really has a knife. Austin says, oh, I don't think he has a knife. We are in Frisco. Okay. Now, another testimony that came in is that when they started arguing, Karmelo had the backpack on his shoulder. When they had a beef, he put the backpack in his lap, and his hand is inside of it the entire time. The prosecution said that he already had the knife open. It was a knife. Well, let's get it straight. The prosecution is calling it a knife. The defense is calling it a multi-purpose tool. I've showed you guys what it looked like several times before. I'm just going to put it up now because I want you guys to have a fair shot at your argument. I know a lot of people haven't been here for the whole spiel. I'm just going to give this to you really quick. Shoot, what is going on? Give me 1 second, guys. Screen share. Here we go. I'm going to show you what it looked like. That's it right here. Okay, so that's it right there. He has this item. It's called, you see what it's called, right? If you order it, it's a multi-purpose tool. The defense framed it that way. Prosecution said it's a knife. Okay, it was prohibited, but not illegal. Illegal is anything over 5.5 inches. This one was 3.5-inch blade. He has it in his lap. I gave you guys a good testimony. And you guys can go to Neek at Night. She actually said it. I found it too. But Karmelo arrived 2 minutes after Austin. Austin arrived at 9:54. Karmelo arrived at 9:56. According to the testimony, go check out Neek at Night. You'll see I'm telling the truth. And then at 10 o'clock, they began fighting. 10 o'clock and 48 seconds. By 10 o'clock and 53 seconds, 5 seconds later, it says the suspect was running. They only had an altercation for 5 seconds. On the video, I'm sitting in court. I saw all the witnesses, so I don't need any smoke. I'm ready for anybody. But anyway, in the video, you don't see any movement from anybody else. You see Austin go very abruptly to Karmelo. Eddie, to his testimony, said he was knocked out the way by Austin. The other witnesses all came in and said, oh, he just went and hit him on the shoulder and said, get up out of here. All right. Eddie testified. He said that Karmelo says to Austin, you're a bitch. Austin says to him, you're a bitch. But then under cross-examination, the defense attorney, Toby Shook, says, well, when this thing first happened, Eddie, you made a testimony saying that Austin told Karmelo, I'm going to get your bitch ass up out of here, and proceeded to go at him. So I tied that to the video. We see Austin go to Karmelo, and then he bounced back to the left, and then you see Karmelo run out of the back of the tent. He comes down really fast. He falls. 3 guys are running after him. One of them stopped and run back. They say that was Hunter, because then he went to check on his brother. So that gives you guys some context. I hope that helps you answer the question. Let's go. Whoever wants to start.
Yeah, as far as the fact that it's a multi-tool kind of changes things slightly, because now we know it's not premeditated. This could be something that he brings on the daily for, I don't know, maybe cut tape or whatever the case it may be. The problem is in Texas, there's no first degree, second degree murder. It's just murder. and that's the biggest issue, right? So if you don't think it's manslaughter, you don't have an option to kind of give him a lesser charge than that. But the biggest problem I have was it just seems like there was a lot of stacking against him. The jury selection was an issue for me. The fact that I don't know if it's true, but if the dad is actually friends with the judge, the DA, and the prosecutor, if that is the truth, that judge should have recused himself. He should not be proceeding over the trial because there comes some bias with it.
Let me just chime in. I was in court. That whole picture that's floating around, that's all false. And the dad has stated he didn't know the judge. Now maybe he did. That's beside the point. I'm just saying that picture is not true. Calvin Johnson, the criminal defense attorney on this channel, he knows Judge Roach. He's not in that picture. I saw Judge Roach. He's not in that picture. I saw the DA. He sat right in front of me. Somebody just put that out. It's all cap. So
Okay.
I'm just giving you some inside information. That's all. Go ahead.
But,
Go ahead,
but,
bro.
but yeah. So, but even then, like the jury, is it true that they struck 3 black jurors because they were teachers?
Yes, correct.
That's nonsense. That makes no sense. It's some things that I would say it's the fault of the defense as well. I don't know if the attorney was terrible. He needed better representation. I can't blame the court for that, but I can blame the court for the jury selection. But the defense really let Karmelo down. I don't believe 35 years is necessarily justified. In the eyes of the law, it may not be a perfect self-defense case, but he has an argument. The witnesses all seem to be telling different stories. They seem to have contradicting statements. And the fact that Carmelo's friend denied like actually being friends with them, there's just some shady stuff going on. And I think due process wasn't really afforded for Karmelo. I just felt like his back was against the wall the entire time. Just give him a fair trial. That don't mean he shouldn't get any time, but I just don't believe that this trial was fair for him.
Okay. Go ahead, Grumpy.
So I'm still going off the whole aspect. You said he was grabbed, correct? Like this? He was grabbed like this. He was in a sitting position. Hand in the backpack with his hand on the knife, right? So now his arm is pinned. Now his arm is pinned, correct?
Yeah.
There was no physical arm movement. Which angle did the blade go into Austin? I'm calling this an accidental murder. It was not defensive. It was not aggressive. I think the sheer impact of the two boys coming together is what caused the death of Austin. I'm calling the whole thing BS. Because if there was no physical movement, no angle of the blade, if he's holding the blade pinned against his arm like that, when Austin grabbed him, picked him up, the knife inserted into his chest cavity. He did not kill the kid. That's where I'm at. There's no self-defense in this. There was no murder in this. It was complete. Two bodies come together in a fast motion.
Yeah, and not only that, he didn't continue to stab.
He did continue to stab.
It was one stab.
That's what I'm saying.
He ran away.
His hand is pinned in the backpack, right? His hand is pinned. So, yes, the blade might be open, but his hand is still pinned. I want to know why they didn't ask during the coroner which angle projector inserted into his heart, because it wasn't down. It wasn't downward. So, was it sideways? Was it movement? Was it up? When Austin grabbed him, which way did the blade enter into his chest cavity? This has been driving me nuts since the members thing. Because if he's pinned like this, his hand is completely held down in a backpack. So I think his defense was worthless. Because nobody, was the coroner report brought up? There was an angle projector into the chest cavity? You were in court. Mel?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm asking you.
I hear some feedback from one of you guys, so it's hard for me to make out what you're saying. Say it one more time. What's your question?
My question in the coroner's report, did they give an angle trajectory of the blade into the chest cavity?
They just made it seem as though it was just a straight up. They call it a 2.5 deep hit, so it's like a more of a frontal hit.
Okay, so it was a straight injection.
Yeah.
It's a 3-inch blade and it's 2 inches deep. That means he didn't use full force. And that you see what I'm saying? If he was stabbing somebody with the intention of murder, that knife would be all the way deep into him.
Well, that's my problem. Is that his arm was blocked, so he only had wrist movement, right? Because if your arm is blocked and all you have, so basically the knife was pushed against the young man's body, right, both directions. So when Austin grabbed him, pinned him, it was a sheer force of the two bodies coming together. That's a 5-second stab, right there. Why was no body imaging done of the young man to show any kind of physical bruising on his chest with the weapon tool? What angle directly? Because I can just prove this whole thing that he killed him. The whole thing was an accidental death. It was a whole inertia of the two boys coming together at a quick motion.
All right, so let me ask you guys this question. With Jay saying that he started to pick him up, what is your argument as far as allowing someone to pick you up off the ground? Are because then they have control of you. Austin is 6'1", 225 pounds. Karmelo is 5'7", 130 pounds. Imagine picking him up. Do you let a guy pick you up with metal bleachers and body slam you? You hit your head. What are your arguments? Is that self-defense? Is it a threat of life? There you go. Go ahead.
Yes, it's raining, it's storming. We're on these metal bleachers. It's hard to walk up the bleachers when it's not raining. Yeah, I'm absolutely a fear for my life. This big dude is picking me up. I'm 145 pounds. He's picking me up. I don't know if he's going to throw me. We may fall. I absolutely think that he has an argument of fear for life. And that's why I can't necessarily be all the way mad at defense or at the court. I'm pissed at the defense. Like, defense, what are y'all doing? Wake up.
I pick people up all the time for funny, haha. So, but yeah, I could see in the moment of heat, I could see that oh shit, But where in the video did it show that he was struck? Where not Karmelo, but Austin. Where was it actually? There was no actual physical hand movement. So that's my only issue with the case is I don't think it was physically meant to happen. I don't think he intended to stab the kid. I think the sheer force of the two bodies coming together, that 5-second click, is what caused the penetration, not a physical, not intendable. That's my argument. What being picked up? Yes, I mean it'd be like uppy, like a little kid. So I mean, yeah, I can see him.
The mainstream media is saying basically they make it seem like Karmelo stood up and just reached out and stabbed the guy. That's not what was in court. That's my only point. That's all.
Well, no, that's what I'm agreeing with you though. I don't physically think he physically intended on stabbing Austin. It was a sheer accident. It was an accidental death. Is what I'm saying. It was two boys coming together. Quick pause. He's dead. Because if his hand is pinned, his whole arm is pinned. How are you have wrist movement? That's my whole objective here. I don't understand where. I don't see murder anywhere in this. I see accidental death. I see two, like I keep saying, I see two hothead teenagers messed up, and that just a sheer force of two bodies coming together is what caused the death.
Okay, very good. Any thoughts, BR?
Did you said you were in the court? Did you actually see the video clearly?
Yes, I saw the video. I saw everything.
So was it just 101? Because I'm hearing that the twin brother, picked up his backpack and threw it.
Not true.
Not true. Okay.
Only Karmelo, only Austin in the video. It's only 5 seconds. Austin movement toward Karmelo started the 5 seconds. By that time, that 5 second hit, Karmelo is already bouncing out the back of the tent. All right, and he wasn't even sitting under the tent. He was sitting on the row right behind the tent. Maybe his feet could have been, covered by the tent, but he was outside. So that whole narrative about it was raining and he went under the tent is not true. The narrative about an all-white jury, not true. I have the breakdown of the jurors, so.
Well, there was no black jurors.
No.
Asian, Hispanic, they might as well be white. 50 years old, 40-year-old Asian Hispanic. Come on now. That's not a fair jury. Especially when they struck 3 teachers because they were teachers. That makes absolutely no sense.
Correct.
They should be the best judge of character, right? If those 3 teachers, whether they were black or white, I don't care if they're black or white, the fact that they're teachers, they'd be the best for a jury. I don't understand why they were struck.
And by the way, in the video, Hunter says Austin grabbed the backpack. People are saying the opposite, but that's what he says in the video. I could pull it up if you guys want to see it. But anyway,
Austin grabbed the backpack?
Austin, that's what Hunter said, right? In the video with his mother.
See, these are the details that we're not getting, man. There's something else was going on. So if somebody grabbed that backpack, that's another tool for self-defense.
Right. Listen,
Grabbing
guys.
someone's property.
Unfortunately, we could get into that tonight. I'm behind time on a different venue, so feel free to come back tonight, guys. If you want to, we're gonna do a show with Candace Kelly. She's a law professor, so we'll do our show, and we can come up. You guys can ask me questions. We can break all this down. I like the way both of you guys think. I think it would be good for people to hear your arguments because I've already laid out stuff, but you guys can ask me questions. But I think it would be very effective. The show will start at 8 p.m. tonight. She'll be on for like 45 minutes. Then I'd like for you guys to come back up and we really unpack it even more. All right?
Sounds like a plan, Mel.
Can I respond to that comment real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Might as well be white. The racism comment. The reason why I say
you got 5 minutes each. You got 5 minutes each. That's it. Okay, let's roll.
The reason why I said that they should be black is because we all know that you should be judged by your peers. Not only was he a 17-year-old kid at the time of the incident, nobody in there was in relation to his peers by race or by age or anywhere near that group. And then off of this topic too, I didn't get to you about the President Trump and the billions of dollars that he's made by scamming off of the back of Americans. He's enriched his family. He's enriched his friends. Elon Musk has doubled, tripled his net worth since dealing with Donald Trump. That is not for the American people. And to the host's original question about whether Trump has shown himself as a great leader, a great American president, that's the complete opposite. We had a president in Barack Hussein Obama who defied the odds, becoming the first black president of the United States of America, and he was crucified for wearing a tan suit. Meanwhile, this guy puts out a scam coin the first day that he becomes the president, and then tanks the coin, pulls the money out, rug pulls those hardworking Americans. I hope that wasn't one of you, man. I hope that wasn't you that put your money into that Trump and Melania coin, and then they crashed it and took all that money out because Trump needs that money after all those 34 convicted felonies and that mugshot that he had to take. So thank you for having me, host. We didn't get to that. Maybe we can get to that another time. Appreciate you.
And by the way, I attended Donald Trump's trial where he received those 34 felonies. So we could talk about that too, if you guys want to talk about it. Anyway, go ahead, Grumpy.
So subjectively, your peers are any color. We're all Americans. It's whoever comes in the court. People need to, I mean, we're all the same. We're all Americans. Courts don't pick and choose. He was judged by his peers. To me, we always, it's 2026. We need to quit splitting that hairline and finally come together. We're all the same. We're all equal Americans. We need to start acting like it. Just splitting hair things really just makes me grumpy as hell. But I have issues with the initial start of the case because of his defense. But other than that, I really don't have much to say. But I appreciate you, Mel. Anytime you want to come back on, I'll come hang out with you. Always great to see you. Great show.
Okay, so I welcome you guys back tonight. We'll be on at 8 o'clock tonight with law professor Candace Kelly. I'm going to have to mute you guys because I'm getting some noise in the background. I don't know where it's coming from. All right, so that's it. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I do have to take care of a matter. I'm putting together a very detailed breakdown in regards to Carmelo Anthony. I think you guys are going to be able to appreciate that the media sometimes distort the truth about what really happens in court. There's one guy, and I'm telling you something, and I'm going to show you guys proof pretty much. He represents one of the biggest TV networks out there. He's a black gentleman. He was out covering this case, and pretty much every hour or so he would go live reporting from the courthouse, right? I never saw him come into the courtroom, but he's out here on a large network saying, I was in the courtroom. No, you weren't. I controlled the line for about 3 days straight. Also on the back row, they allowed the non-approved media outlets. They would sit on the back row. I sat beside them one day. I saw every one of these individuals who were allowed to bring in their laptops to put in their details. So this guy never came into the courtroom. He's on YouTube's on the television talking about, people are saying, well, what did you notice about the video? He says, oh, I saw. Brother, you wasn't in the courtroom. And so here's the thing. In his testimony, right, he's working for one of the biggest networks. He says that Carmelo arrived in the tent a few minutes prior to Austin. I've been telling you guys that Austin arrived in the tent at 9:54. Carmelo came in at 9:56, right? Guess what? I went to Neek at night and I listened to her report on the opening arguments. You know what she said? The same thing I said, because she was in court sitting a couple seats down from me, taking good notes. We have a real problem. On Nancy Grace, she said it was 3 Hispanics on the jury. It was only 1. I was in the courtroom, okay? All right. Other people are just coming up with all of these details. Fox News says that the blade was 5 inches. In court, we learned that it was only 3.5 inches. But here's the real problem. When I come out, because you've heard it on a big network, when I come and I give you the real fact, you say, oh, all night, I get these texts. I wake up in the morning, actually in the comment section, people that are watching my videos, oh, you're wrong. Fox said this and da-da-da. The list goes on, and it's misinformation, but we're in court. And if you really want to know something that I'm saying, like whether the guy hit him with a lineman press, go look at the other people that were in the court who covered these cases. Neek at night covered Diddy. I covered Diddy. We don't really have in-depth conversations, but we're all in court taking notes. And so whether you get the transcripts or not, it's very important for you to understand that we're trying to help you guys understand what's really happening in regards to the case from inside of the courtroom. And you can fact check me, and I think it's beautiful. The other day, I showed you guys a video of News Nation. He was allowed to go see this video at this particular time when he got on the list, right? They all had to go and watch this video under a controlled circumstance. You know what that guy from News Nation said? He says the fight only lasts 5 seconds. So you know what that does? You say, oh, Mel's been saying that. See, that's how you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. Mel said that the fight started at 10 o'clock and 48 seconds. And then by 10 o'clock and 53 seconds, the suspect, Carmelo, is running. So it helps you to understand. Now, what I've done, because people are saying that there's a different video, so my angle was to go back in time and see what these people are saying versus other people who actually saw the video. So I've dug up about 5 different testimonies, and these people are saying they saw the same thing that I saw in court. The guy from News Nation, he says, it's so blurry, you can't make out anything. Okay, that's what I saw. I could see raindrops, not while we were looking at the tent, but I saw raindrops when the boys were walking in from the middle school. That's what Hunter said. They were walking back. It was like 6 boys. It's raining very hard, and you can just see the raindrops coming down tremendously, okay? But you get people like this guy that's on the big network saying, "Oh, I was in court and you can't even see any rain in the video." Brother, you wasn't even in the courtroom. So I'm out here debating with a guy that every time when I went outside into the parking lot, the guy's out there doing his thing. He has to go live all day, so he can't sit in the courtroom like me, but he's telling you he's in the courtroom, and he's there by proxy because they have people in the courtroom taking notes, but it's not the same as those of us who are in the courtroom really sitting there all day writing notes. It takes a lot to do this, right? This is my notes from Luigi Mangione, right? So same notepad, I'm in there writing notes. So anyway, I say all of that. Tune in tonight. I hope that BR comes back and Grumpy, and we can expound on it more. We have Candace Kelly coming on tonight. Tomorrow night, we have Mama Flips, okay? We're going to continue this discussion about Karmelo Anthony because it's very important right now. And there's just so much misinformation, but I'm glad that I attended this trial. When I covered Trump's trial, when I covered Diddy's trial, that was 9 weeks that I went to court. I was in the main courtroom. It cost me $200 a day to pay a line sitter. Imagine how much money I paid. I didn't ask anybody for a dime. I paid that, okay? It cost me to New York, the train, all of this, eating, it cost tremendously, but this is my sacrifice. Nobody questioned me when I said, the girl said Diddy had her hanging off the banister and it wasn't true, and Westmoreland tore her to pieces. Nobody questioned that. But we get people now that don't understand this channel and how I move, and they come in and they say, "Oh, you're wrong because the big network said." No, brother, I can prove you. And if you get the transcripts, which are delayed, you're going to see that what we say is very true. Thank you for tuning in today. I must go. I had some amazing brothers come in and really build today on different levels. These guys are very intelligent. I don't even know the one brother that came in. I'm hoping he comes back tonight and bless us with his presence. You can tell he has a very intelligent mind. On top of his game, and Grumpy on top of his game. And you see it started off a little friction, but intelligence recognized intelligence. They did a great job, and everybody kept it peaceful, and we enjoyed ourselves tremendously because of you guys. Hopefully I'll see you tonight. Be well until then, and remember that love is much better than hate, all right? In fact, it drives it out. Just like light drives out darkness. Thank you.
Different voices, but the same song. Living a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the thing remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.